ye speaker and na ebusuan ye wom ni se yentumi nka se e ma hyebe dwom achi amehene ya no ote adwam ya ne MPP amanyuko na sambo ni din se ompese onno kono yentumi nka se onno ha na eba because minority for no so ede woni pa aba nti e wo se abato koso e wo se abato no koso iti abato no chiri ene ye betumi ehu se ebeye obenfo maikokoi ena obeto na adwuma so ana se na doli kalium rashebedwani ode na adwuma abawieye onmunyamfo Alban Kinswo Somana Baben ena ono so eba abetena adwam ye ne mpanimfo bi atwetwe nkomo ya se wutie mu a ase ye wo mu a se omo ya na maka o ni human relation ye se ni osini ni partner ene ensem bebre a minority for no de dodo na ne omo kan se e wo se Baben ena eko majority side no ena yenim majority side no ena yenim if you say e ma hyebedwam ha no ya baha ya yenim se toda edu ne eden se abato no ko na yehwe unipa kro na ebia obetumi asesa ne ma shipping system na ye adwuma pa ene 1 2 3 se edu 3 ne dia unipa kro umpo ne party no kano ena wo se ye adwuma nti se ba se mo to aba na nyesa afi na beka se madam for fa hasi na ade ba ko ne se minim se abato no a wo beto no ye beye se ye bebisa ne ye de ne ena aka ana ye ne ye be ma ye nsa so ana ye types of abato a ye betumi ato no mra hyebedwam han bi na mekan ye won ye betumi abisa ama enne ne ye de age so ene ye wo ye betumi aka so se bi a wo a utachire ma nsa so eno wo ho ene ye wo ne ye betumi so de papers amamo trodin na ye nto aba no ene de ne ekoi se ye trodin ne me nto aba no a me trom din no na ebi a me ye nte se Ghana abato ye a ye to ye a na me de kwa akoto adaka mu a ebi a na wo hu ne me twro nenno ene eduru ho no mu a yetumi ka se akua baby a uti wo twra nipa a watu nifa so no manenhwe ne otu benkum so manenhwe that means say omu hia voice no enne nipa ba akokora ama wo nipa kora ofa se nipa ba akokora ama ana mienu tifiri mu a ebetumi aha adwen wo sa abato yi eho wei enne ne ekoso no e kire yen ne ebetumi asie ewo parliament no se ne wei kita dodo wei so de no edoso ti edu se bi abasa ye pass bill bi agreements bi wo hono na ye hia dom no se e wo so ye adwuma sa ne mai bi ne betumi ehu na wo se dom no dodo no ye hwepo mo ba bi obi a wo no oba wo mayi mra muso no ni ade ba kwa ye hu ani ne enim no se ye yi aso afọ dodo.
Yeah, well, just about 12 minutes na dumienu abo na dumienu bope clerk of parliament ne ba betenase na yahwe baby asusuide board hono befa de ekoyi de na chese abato no so be yire se bentan fa na se ema Trade High Limited omo kuremu dendenden afei 21st clinic wonom so esanya do ahodo a enye asem keto Magdan Shipping and Logistics Limited a oye your total logistics partner DBS Industries Omana Etrakala Link Plus festival adding flavors to your life and a Hyper Plus mission. Na esi ohene eda so ha na Kosi Ajiman. Esi odo ba kra wa mi anu anka sa na ekotihwe mo bi bisa say are they lawmakers or law breakers? Omo shamra na so mum na ese mra no. Ye drei.
Osino ewo achim ebuakwa. Ye de uru bi akupia himfie. Ese we aponchi na samnisu hu dwanhoma se da form tintintin na ye ne fe no fae na nani aha ndi amobọ dwanhoma no ndi oye so de homa no kofi koduru fe abobọ afi nkrofo bi si ya chine se we odwan ya kwakoye nsem na ekọ ayini bi obi se o mempo de minim se ahaye minority na haye majority mempo de minim se na de nkrofo din afem fam enkonwa no ho ekire se ahaye arada enu nyina ye nkontompo enu de NDC for to aso na se party bia to aso kasa ansem na enyina so ewo mu esua so bi kan kire wo se yakodi asem ogwa asin ni enu nzunzanzo ne se obi adifo eni hu kwan se ofre no ho se oye MP elect na se party leader bi se onte ye enye nokre esan say asem no koye no party eni ne ogina ye no a lawyer for court ni bi esan say media organizations be it say ahanu e wo man mu obi abon dawuru eye se bia so brache na omo ye se yampa so se e fa baabi amawu Peter amawu eba parliament mrashe bedwemu ebe train din ese enne obeba em yaso no se oye mrashe bedwani na obra sa abre no na high court ebua se oni nyina so bia se ofre no ho MPA emfa won se na nadwene se okwa akwaji review enkopem se na review no ma ye
adwuma no
eno so ye mfomso na wasem ne se wo ye law makers wo ye mra ana so wo ye law breakers se wo bu mra so obi eti ahwehwedan mu a eni se oto abo MPs ne se wo ye omne nyina akrogin se mudi afefe sem ne di agro ne adun je mudma ne amobu. You can crack all the jokes, you can make all the fun, but you shouldn't break the laws. Mentias ye ne se emra yebusu bebri enne ekoso sabre ye bre se 7 parliament no etnase ye momra ne yengu aware no se okunu ene oyire nyina ba enne na yegu 7 parliament no ntino the argument so ene wom de wom bre atwam obi o ha bia MP elect, it is not true. Se obi o ho bia first and foremost eye 7 parliament ni yegu wi a madwuma asa yes we in 8th parliament for na womo continuing MPs any precious nyina ba na interpretation ebinum edema asem no eye self serving me kan ye mafa mungu ade o kan ye wafa
ebe ko yi amame
ente se ense ba ne sa na ne se enchini eyira ne de a dem ba ne be bio womo kwakọ hyehyẹ mra me edi so ye ne ompe akwa mra no a edian ni benya free mu masem titia ne se womma enne entwato womfa ntoma pa emfra na se ne Ghana ekoyi se ne abato okoyi se ne noma ekoyi awiase dimrika din yanimi a Southeast Asia Europe America ne edimrika ne ade ne ye guguguru yensem ho saa guguguru ne mehuhia saa empa engusi babia.
All right, and anyway, the Equaco Rahomachimo, election headquarters, Kokomuti Power Adom TV, said ye walk grounds, so now you will studio higher chain, share the next Speaker of Parliament, any empo, why any become majority, why become minority, na ye the chain, Yamia Doma, Adichimu, a omampeni swearing in, no, Yabakona, Semeka say ye will nipa mienu, our mudin da pronso, Professor Aaron Michael Kwe, incumbent. And afi yera Alban Kingsford Osman Bagbin in the 7th parliament no na oye 2nd deputy speaker and a minority and I say na minority in the 7th parliament no one nominating is or no and also person obabeye speaker of parliament unim say Sasi BBS pain in 2004 in 2004 after 2004 elections in 2005 January na ye Peter Lagite speaker na ono an party yini pafoforo ye Ebenezer Bejina Hughes na enso minority NDC led by surprisingly ye Alban's man Bagbin sabre no and propose me kai pa sorry Gina said Debbie ye Peter Alagete na enso Peter Alagete ye NDC ni so so ono a eno pe no enti wi akire ye to mo so aba ema Bejina Hughes ena edi enkunim this time around NDC MPC chese omhia Alban Bagbin MPP for so propose Professor Aaron Michael Kwe abato no say ena ebeko we no di obenya a single vote over the other no kra no enipa no speaker of parliament and a very close kwasi me no nia dia ye hwa nwumre
mpa me bonu say spoiled ballot biya
spoiled ballot
ayaba ne yakotu ho say na nanu 313,397 essay no ankofo ani agi abro so a omukasa ka he ya akoma kosoi se bibia settle na yesi ye to aba no wo
MPC eti obi beto aba na se
ayaba ne yatu
obi anom bibia na say
bibia betumi asi
be say aba no
obi okra ne de kwanti kra na okoto ase no
na say na fe ongu wan we bi be she ongu be won
wan nti eno na ye
at this crucial moment there
miss abato o
me sure say party nyina be kan bo bodua
na ko be de hu pakro win pakro
it
depends on how voting no process ne be call say omo ebeye yes or no say yenye writing of names say ye print omo emienu e wo ballot so
that say
yenim format no for now
2005 over vote PM John Tia kan parliament
don't you have
yes on the NDC o say Mr. Speaker there's a clear case of overvoting ade NDC for Koto Abano 96 right MPP 128 and they were independent 2 independent 1 then PNC CPP afa ye Koto Abano of 200 no and 230 231 parliament yeah 231
we by enclave dey be na ebinum say
128.94
plus one independent and PNC CPP
and tom to ebroso
baako
say omo a ewo ho sisi no incumbent speaker ene ya nominate ni biemu ono ontimi nto aba ni bi aban bagbe ontimi nto aba ni bi
dabi okay
bagbe MPs ontimi nto aba ni bi
yes
it's strictly MPs 274 75 but clerk no eba ben na so na say ase north ni no o ma na kwan dia let's say 274 until 275
niame hunu say clerk be announce the AC wo Cape Coast High Court enti no ase north MP na yato abama no court say man friend hu MP so I no on so I bi krata no before me shey
pe subanya yehun se adadi anwumre yi sa insistence no emma entimi enkonkoduru sa afia ye friend security for okra no mama baba be yi ni fa edlepie pe de yehun
contempt of court bebem eye court assembly ye kan
wa hunu se
for the processes of
contempt metewasio ne mo na se bisan se ugidi se NDC for be makwan se yenua call the nya hweko o maka se trans ye wo immunity wa high parliament
onye MP now ye
wo mo aka no betima claim se menka se papa na se bone nya botresi ma ba ko na tie mi wo mo ebe protect no ye ma nko
o but onye MP onye MP let onye
na se asem no bisa ye no there's a real possibility say
of course o me dey wo but emrasem ene ye ka so okopre no ho na se menko me so me court be found contempt later yes later court be found contempt e ban sa na o man no because ye the man na ye adwuma wo
nti na se kakra bi na me kan na me san tim no e say ye mpanimfu ye o me ye nunyamfu yi wo mo sorry they must rise to the occasion wo mo mpagya wo ho waka no mo na ye da so no nko en se ye say o man ga na din baby e free bapa mfie duosia nan e kama ya say mfie duosia nan ne bra ya bra ne nunyam kakra ye nya obibi mai mu enhwe se ye say ye nunyam ye nue ye ne enim krasa asem nan ki dibem na court edi atia en wo de priba abonten ya sam bana se odi kan kodura hemfia no nche se wo dibem mpo ye bua fo ne edi kan no nche wo di fo mienu no nche se third one answer we have maybe 2 more reviews eti wo de priebra me hwe kwan se yenua asiedun ketia ni NDC fo no nyina be ka kire danfo no say we have made a statement
you know so no until
we have made a statement to the world nemu eye se emrase onka ho na sibra form na ye be san akobi bi kura na yedi nkunu na yedi wa ba be kan
all right
see what I'm seeing happening say koba say omukoto abana ballot paper na omu mani bi I'm telling you
all right enti my yenko na ye ne outgoing member of parliament Minia Ras Mubarak kumbungu mrashebedwani asise ende aka simapena Ras Mubarak dwumadi nyina bawie Ras na bokode
Minia Rushapa
afeko bete Oh, 12 na nyabo, 12 na nyabo. It is my the last person to call you as an MP.
That's right.
All right.
You know, it's good to join you.
I'm on Fajo, so. Now, say what's your Oh, okay. And now, monitor your mail parliament.
Me hear on TV so there.
Wow. What for the apostle of your honor?
Well, I mean, it's a new chapter. A chapter be a year in the life of our parliament. From 1992, you can even stretch it back. Yeah, then hang parliament. Obia in the clear majority. You know, about to acquire 50-50. And obviously, you know, Parliament provides you an opportunity. Emma Wakwenya also ultimately wadwe etimeboa Emma yeshe emra ebeboa obia. And obviously, no, because this is a very new thing we are all experiencing. You know, one would have wished say, he or she is part of this historic moment. But I mean, as a man proposes, God disposes. Adebia, Anna, say, in all things we have to give thanks. Just say, Adebia, this welcome, as all the Asada.
Sure.
And we are grateful for the opportunity, and Madam Peswaso for us, say, we been over the last 4 years. It's been a good journey, and I'm sure history will be very kind to us.
You ever my team council, son say, what be your juma, and you've made your mark. Eddie, Ama, Omei, yen 7 parliament in a month for Kumbungu. But my maybe so quick one on the Akoswo and you may we'll take or sided with Uncle for men yen say be your party phone, two sided with baby Omukoya say, aha, and your first was here tonight, say, I say in Chinuaka Crabba, any position might take so far.
No, the attorney said, Obia knew our clear majority in this particular parliament. Per results, our electoral commission, and our electoral commission, if you want to, say it in English. Results, our electoral commission, Eddie Abetua Bontin, and they say, NDC were 137 MPs, MPP were 137. And Banasa, Obia knew our majority. And don't forget, sir, even if the independent is going to vote with the NPP, he won't sit in on MPP benches. Or yes, no, across the carpet. Because that's a technical argument that is not coming out clearly in Nkoma Yedi.
But he can join the majority caucus.
He can vote with the majority, but he can't sit with the majority. As far as I'm concerned, the technical definition of crossing carpet, no, yes, our crossing carpet. Okay, like the election of speaker, you say. Obetuma and I just say on your more ebevuti, but don't even got to omumu as parliament.
That is true.
Because on your MPP member of parliament. So that's the technicalities. And over technicalities now, don't even go say Omon crop for and as Omunipa and as where you will be sitting. Anna, the second point that needs to be made is say, Yabon Rashabedum say Speaker cry nominating speaker. And in a situation like that, won't even say a member of parliament. A person becomes a member of parliament when he takes the oath of office and the oath of secrecy. Okay, in Jobu, even though they've constituted an assembly of parliament, but this is a omoteki oath. And son of Ombetimi Juma, as I said, Mashebedweni Aye. And he said, many I see on Obevoti on the lines are MP before ever far until he takes his oath, any action you can describe that as null and void. And under the circumstances, the NDC has assumed its rightful position. Okay. And beyond that, even these cases are in court. There were a regime where GDS said, Yankopombe Adom now NDC in respect of the cases that are in court already.
All right. Ras, me said me way back with Ghana Broadcasting as a Rasta man, radio TV presenter, yeah, started politics near the end. Uti, they say Utina, I can't nam kwane oh. Meaning say we a straightforward person. The issue with ascent of member of parliament elect na Cape Coast High Court a granted and as more I'm Eddie Injunction at so so to me calling her as member of parliament. But here's the case. Or biography or colleague MPs from NDC and waiting to be sworn in as member of parliament. Meanwhile, Injunction done. So I don't know what you make of Sadiano.
A sin of issue no ayamena kakra ayamena to the extent that one judge and a man ruling no, as weird as it is, it's a very weird ruling. As weird as that ruling is, now representatives of your candidates, led by lawyer Maliba, episode of file stay of execution, just a stay of execution, just a ruling, and as ruling a judge in Amano, Osa in law, Osa to be a BBA.
Say, Swanson.
So very good. That's what I was looking at. Now, I said court clerk, and as I said, all of a sudden the person is out of town. All of a sudden. Now, Ubisa who said, Ubi abaye juma, say ya abaye juma. So abaye juma are court endpoint. Now they also as a court clerk, unanam sol pon was a hey. So you could tell from all indications that a deliberate attempt, to make sure that they will frustrate the NDC and the candidate. That is number one. Number two, there are two schools of thought. Maybe GD said, insofar as young survey MP elect, with notice of the injunction, he has every right to take his seat in Parliament and to be sworn in. And indeed, Parliament, he's gone through the processes of acquiring an ID card from Parliament, getting clearance and all of that. So that is what it is. Or other similar, even though the details are not the same, or other similar circumstances in respect of Hohoi, in respect of Techiman South, an equally similar application were rejected. Even though a whole High Court had granted the application, when it came to the Supreme Court, it was quashed. Again, in Techiman South, they didn't grant it. So you ask yourself, this same law, in one breath, you are granting one person stay of execution, in another breath, you don't. There's inconsistency, and I think it's very weird. It's an aberration.
It's good, sir. Okay, say similar, but and yet the same. Because issues differ kakra. But they say Parliament, the 8th Parliament is almost about starting. It's Ras me fa won sin komo de they say me sure so benya daje ne adi bebre na experience kakra wonya no Parliament no ye no agege kakra kakra na Rasta ne ever say betimi asa yibi wa why we Ras Mubarak Kumbungu Emrashe bedwani a ene ya odi dwumadie abawie yen san ko back to Parliament na yen konkɔhwɛ said ye enioma esi eko.
As they watch and welcome the procession.
Elect nkwa ena ewo ho say ye ka say ye ni speaker of parliament nti clerk of parliament no ono ena ebeche ene enhyiamudi a wono mo eye no wagina so ama nipa ya to aba ma omo se mrahye no omo asai na wono mo ni wie a omo so agina mu ato aba de ama nipa ya propose se omo be speakers na ye Professor Michael Kwe anase Urban Bagbin enunti Sabre Clark no ena hu se oba betena se na di post so papa sanse dwumadie ya wodi wani amana nkwa nkusi a entimi ma se ene anopai be no nkora ya hyehye amampanimfo ahodo free chichiri no benche aba se omampani be so afremu asuae no ontimi ni se adwuma no sisi ya meka sei sisi ya meka sei yeni parliament omo a ewo ho nyina yeni pa ya to omo MPs elect enti ni dwumadi oba bedie ene be ma se ni panetimi aso afremu asuae ni etimi agina so ayi speaker na speaker no enso so ene eye na bedwafo no etena se a omampani aba besuae e de a kyerem sanse omo ne the representatives a omo gina mu e de ama eye 275 constituencies e wo man mu emu nipa empempempempem a yeboro opepe edunson nti enye dwumadi keto akra na meka se omo hyase no se meka se abedwafo ni nyina aso ye gina a oman ye anthem no the national anthem wono mu ebo Clark no ena ohun se eja wasiri trust no se meka se minim de ekoso ni trim de so ni dwumadi oba bedie esombo pa na say akwakwa as electoral commissioner on the day of declaration obe declare results no enya asem ketwa na efia wata din se de na kikiri kakra ewo mu no e pa cho Clerk of Parliament no wono ena se wo hwe u TV na wono na peninu na edi mfimfin no penimpa no wono na edi mfimfin na naboafo enso so ewo ne nchen nipa ene baby ogina omo edroso woni nifa so no eye NDC amanyekuo emrahedwamfo a yato aba ede ama wonom a mo hwe ni mu so mbeswae ahye wodwumadi ase womo a ewo ne bankum so enso so eye MPP amanyekuo emrahedwamfo a yato aba de amom sabre yenko na yentie de ekoso na fe yemfama mo
country of peace where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. I'll start. I'll start. Honorable members elect, pursuant to Standing Order 8.3, I, Cyril Pabna Otinisia, Clerk to Parliament, acting as chairman of the first sitting of Parliament, do invite you to this August sitting today, Thursday, the 7th day of January 2021, at 7 minutes after midnight, for the purpose of electing a speaker and administering the oaths of office. Honorable members elect, I have the singular pleasure to inform you that I have received from the chairperson of the Electoral Commission the rate of elections for the December 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections, and I shall proceed to read the communication. Letter dated 23rd December 2020. Addressed to Clerk to Parliament House, Accra. Pursuant to Regulation 43 2B of the Public Election Regulations 2020, we submit the names of elected candidates for the 2020 parliamentary election held on 7th December 2020 for your action. Please find attached the names of the elected candidates and their respective constituencies and rate of election for the constituencies. Thank you. Signed, Samuel Pt.D, Deputy Chairman Operations for Chairperson. Honorable members-elect, in accordance with Order 8.2 of the Standing Orders, I am satisfied that the quorum is present in this House for the election of the Speaker. Honorable members-elect, Clause 1 of Article 95 of the 1992 Constitution requires that a Speaker of Parliament be elected by members of Parliament from among persons who are members of Parliament or qualified to be elected as members of Parliament. May I also refer you to Standing Order 8.4, which states as follows: no person shall be proposed as Speaker unless that person has given his consent to be nominated. It is also important to draw your attention to Standing Order 8.5 of the House, and I quote, a member addressing himself to the clerk shall propose such person to the House as its Speaker, and shall move that such person do take the chair of this House as Speaker, which motion must be seconded without debate. I now invite nominations for the election of the Speaker. Yeah, Honorable Harun, I do so. Minority.
Mr. Clerk, thank you very much for the opportunity. In accordance with Article 95 of the 1992 Constitution, and in particular Order 8 of our Standing Orders, 8.5, I beg to move that the Honorable Alban Suman Kingsford Bagbin do take the chair of this House as Speaker. I beg to move. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Alban Suman Kingsford Bagbin, Mr. Clerk, the Honorable Alban Suman Kingsford Bagbin was born on September 24, 1957 at Sombo in the Upper West region of Ghana. He currently serves as Second Deputy Speaker of Ghana's 4th Republican Parliament and is the Honorable Member of Parliament for Nadoli-Kalio constituency.
In the 7th Parliament. We serve in the 7th Parliament.
He currently serves as the Second Deputy Speaker of Ghana's 4th Republican Parliament and the 7th of it.
7th Parliament. 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic.
7th Parliament of the 4th Republic. He served as Second Deputy Speaker. Bagbin is popularly called, as we all know him, he's a product of the University of Ghana, Legon, and the Ghana School of Law. He was called to the bar in 1982. Among his academic qualifications include a certificate on the privatization of public utilities from Isami, Tanzania, an executive master's in governance and leadership from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, and an ordinary doctorate, LLD, from the University of Professional Studies, Ghana. He received the Best Performing Minister Award in the year 2012 and the Exclusive Man of Africa 2017 Award in Governance. He is a prominent legal practitioner of high standing, and he ventured into a turbulent field of politics in 1992 on account of his peerless tenure of the Nadoli-Kalio seat over the past 27 years. Bagbin is best known in Ghana's parliament as the father of the house. Many of you say, "Father, oh father," because of his long-standing experience, the feat of 27 years service to the Parliament of Ghana. Now even 28 with January added. He was among the 3 wise men and is a 3-star leader. He served as minority leader and majority leader and 2nd deputy speaker, all between 2001 and 2018. What more could he aspire for than to be the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament? He led the NDC parliamentary caucus to put in measures and participated immensely with his hard work. He's a very courageous and frank person, principled to a fault, and his passion has always been to champion Ghana's multi-party democracy and to create a congenial environment for the total utilization of Ghana's human and natural resources to the benefit of all. The Honorable Bagbin strives to get the country to achieve total parliamentary independence in order to position the House to play its proper role in the country's current political dispensation. Parliament for him is the fulcrum of multi-party democracy and should therefore be supported and strengthened to hold the executive to account for its stewardship. He's led us in many times to demand oversight and to strengthen our democratic processes. As many of you may recall, the Honorable Bagbin occupied some ministerial portfolios, including the Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Minister for Health. He further held numerous public sector positions, including Chairman of the Water Sector Reforms Advisory Committee, Vice Chairman Appointments Committee of Parliament from 1997 to the year 2001, Vice Chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee 1994 to 1996, Chairman of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee from 1994 to 1997. A very proud parliamentary record and service to the Parliament of Ghana. He served as Chairman of the Committee on Constitutional Parliamentary Affairs of Parliament 1997 to 2001 from 2013 to 2014. He also proudly served as Chair of the Public Accounts of 2001 and 2004, where he worked to make some savings over the leakages in the public purse. He naturally was Chair of the Business Committee of Parliament. He's chaired the Special Budget Committee of Parliament. He's chaired the Board of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority from 2009 to 2010 and served as member of the Board of Directors of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. He's a founding member of the Global Organization of Parliamentarians Against Corruption because he believes strongly that graft and economic crime has debilitating effects on our democracy and on our economy. He's also served as member of the African Parliamentary Network Against Corruption from 1997 to 2010. He's been council member and he's played other respected roles. Member, African, Caribbean, Pacific, European Union Joint Parliamentary Assembly in Brussels from 2013 to 2014, participant National Conference of State Legislators, USA Conference from 2001 to 2010. A decade of it he participated in there. He is now a resource person in parliamentary practice and procedure. So he would not come here with doubt as to what Parliament should be doing and what should not be doing. Is very familiar with our standing orders and our rules of procedure. As Chairman of the Standing Orders Committee, he is executive. He's held other positions, including participating in other congresses of the National Democratic Congress. The clerk chair, I beg to move that the Honorable Alban Sumane Bakwe, I beg to move and nominate him that in accordance with Standing Order 8.5, the Honorable Alban Sumane Bakwe, I have his consent to the nomination duly signed. I beg to move that the Honorable Bakwe do take the chair of this House as Speaker. I beg to move. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Any seconder?
Chair, with respect.
Honorable Afenyoma.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, you had in your preliminary remarks referred to some communication, the basis upon which we are here. he referred to a communication from the Electoral Commission. I am aware that the jurisdiction of a high court in this country has been invoked in respect of a constitutional provision under Article 94(1). Mr. Chair, as a matter of on a point of order, where is it taking us to? Mr. Chair, this is alien. This is alien. It's alien. It is alien.
Order.
Mr. Chair, as a matter of preliminary.
I need to at least hear the member.
Mr. Chair, as a matter of preliminary inquiry from my side, I would want to find out from you whether you are on notice of a proceeding or an order from the High Court in respect of an application by Michael Akuma Nina.
Listen.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair.
Wait, Honorable. At the appropriate time.
Mr. Chair, what I am saying, if my colleagues would indulge me, if they listen to me, whatever they have, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, I believe that the rule of this House enjoins us to listen to a member in silence. Mr. Chair, if I make my submission and they have any view contrary to the preliminary objection and preliminary inquiry I am making, they would be able to make a proper input. That is the rule. It's not a shouting. So, Mr. Chair, all I want to inquire from you is that you have indicated that you have received communication from the Electoral Commission. I am aware of a process that has been mounted. I am aware of a process.
Honorable. I'll indulge. I just wanted to listen to what he's saying.
Mr. Chair, my preliminary inquiry must be addressed. Thereafter, the proceedings can continue. All I am saying is that you have given an indication that you've received a communication, which communication has resulted in even the program outline of the inauguration of the 8th Parliament. I want to find out from you, Mr. Chair, whether or not you have received a court order in respect of a plaint by Michael Akuma Nina, which order makes reference to any person on the list as you provided.
All right.
Specifically.
Okay, sit down.
So, Mr. Chair, I believe that a clear...
So, maybe I should let
for
them
the sake
wait.
of the records, is important.
Order.
I believe that a response from this house, a response from you is important because, Mr. Chair, if a public process is set on you, it is important that we are put on notice as to whether or not indeed you have been served, and if you've been served, what steps are you taking in respect of that?
I've heard it.
Mr. Chair, I rest my case.
Yes, Honorable Muntaka.
Mr. Clerk, Chairman. Mr. Clerk, Chairman, I'm surprised that you kept me standing because point of order is part of the rules of this House. And I was surprised you kept me standing. Mr. Clerk, Chairman, I want to refer my colleague to the Constitution, 95. Specifically, Article 95(3). And your permission, I read, no business shall be transacted in Parliament other than an election to the office of Speaker at any time when the office of Speaker is vacant. Yes. And Mr. Clerk, open nomination. And Mr. Clerk, Mr. Chairman, Clerk, I was surprised that you kicked the motion in compliance with this constitutional provision, as you yourself rightly quoted. And you allowed another member to be deviating from what is before us when it has been moved. And you know that when a motion is moved, that is what is before the House. And the only thing that could be done is to second. And if someone has a counter, then that counts.
I said they should.
So, Mr. Clerk, Chairman, in order not to continue wasting the time of this House and members,
you right to second the motion.
I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Haruna Iddrisu.
Honorable Osechi Mensah-Bonsu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think the issue raised by Mr. Chairman, the issue raised by the member for Efutu is very germane. You have indicated to us that you have received a writ of elections for constituencies from the Electoral Commission. Mr. Chairman, what you did not inform us about is, first, the number of constituencies. It doesn't and then the persons who have been duly elected as members of Parliament. Mr. Chairman, beyond that, Mr. Chairman, this is not, Mr. Chairman, order. Mr. Chairman, respectfully, this House applies itself to the orders of this House. We are not in the streets. Mr. Chairman. Order. Mr. Chair, the people who will qualify to participate in this voting should be a matter of interest to all of us. It is the reason why, in making the announcement, you related to the fact that you have the relevant correct number to transact business. Mr. Chairman, my colleague, who is the deputy leader for the majority caucus, raised a preliminary issue. First, we want to know the eligibility. We want to know the eligibility of persons herein assembled. Mr. Chairman, the honest inquiry from the honorable member, he wants to know the eligibility and qualification of the members of parliament elect who will qualify to participate in voting. Mr. Chairman, it is the reason why before the motion was moved by my colleague, the honorable member for Tamale South, who is until recently the minority leader, right? And now struggling to find space for himself. He made an earnest inquiry. Who qualifies to participate in the voting? And he says to you that he's aware that court processes have been served, injuncting. We have gone to court, somebody has gone to court, injuncting one person. And it's not about shouting, it's about applying yourself to due process. It's about applying yourself to due process. Mr. Chairman, this House has been served with due process, injuncting one person from participating in the business. Mr. Chairman, we are aware that the process has been set on the House and it's been served duly on the clerk of Parliament. We want to know, as a matter of preliminary observation and statement and admission from you, whether it is true. If it is true, it will mean that person cannot participate in the voting, and it would not lie in the mouth of people shouting no. It will lie in the bosom of due process, and we have our laws. We apply ourselves to the laws, and if anybody wants to be physical about that, the marshals are here. They will apply the rule to the letter. So, Mr. Chairman, your duty is to tell us whether indeed due process has been served on this House, injuncting a member of Parliament elect from participating in the activities of today. Mr. Speaker, and just so, the member was not out of order, he was not debating, he raised a plenary issue. He first got up, unfortunately, he did not catch your eye, and you allowed my colleague, the Honorable Harun Edgusu, to move the motion. It is still not late. And it's the reason why, before our orders provide that when the motion has been moved, it must be seconded. If it is not seconded, it is not properly before this House. And it is because of that he rose up boldly. This time you recognize him when the motion was not properly before this House, and he registered a point. I just want to reiterate the point that he made for you to tell this House the position of the law. Chairman, I rest my case.
Mr. Speaker, Ghana, Chairman, Clerk, this is a country governed by law. And this is a country with institutions given defined mandates and authorities. Mr. Speaker, I've heard the Honorable Afenyo Markins make reference to court proceedings. Let me remind him that courts don't determine elected members of parliament. The sovereign will of the people of Ghana vote. Courts don't determine, courts don't determine, courts don't vote. Courts don't determine. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. To my preface, I said institutions have their mandate and authority. The court have a mandate to adjudicate on matters brought before it. But the election of member of parliament is vested in Ghanaian citizens. We are aware that James Jache Kwesen of Asin North was duly elected Mr. Speaker, as far as we know, no court processes have been served on him personally, as far as we know. That is why he is here, having registered and having been recognized, even by the list of 275 MPs. And the official letter gazetted and remitted to the clerk does include Honorable James Jache Kwesen. He is a law-abiding person. He will fight the merits of any matter in court. But he should not be denied subscribing to his oath as elected member of parliament in the name of some court processes. Mr. Speaker, by Article 117 of the Constitution, civil or criminal process coming from any court or place out of parliament shall not be served on or executed in relation to the Speaker or a member or the clerk to parliament. Yes. He is not a member of parliament yet, but he is here to elect a speaker by the provisions of the Constitution, the same Constitution in Article 95. So, Mr. Clerk, Chairman, no court processes have been served on him, and he went through your registration process, having been notified by the official gazette published by the Electoral Commission of Ghana that he was a duly elected member of parliament for Asin North. This is what is best known to us. I heard my colleagues say majority. By the official letter conveyed to you by the Electoral Commission, read it for his purposes. is 137, and therefore there is no political party with a majority. He is counting on the independent candidate. He has not even taken the oath yet for us to know where he wants to belong. If there is any official correspondence on him, share it with us. There is no official communication from him as far as we are concerned by the EC Gazette notification. So get me right. I'm saying that in this country, the legislature is clothed with the mandate of legislation. The judiciary as arbiter and adjudicator. They don't elect. The election of member of parliament is vested in citizens of Ghana. When you are dissatisfied with the outcome of a resource, you go to the arbiter, the court, to seek justice. That is why we are in court, even with the outcome of the presidential election, because we are questioning the legitimacy of the outcome of an electoral commission chairperson who corrects herself 6 times within a day. So, Mr. Speaker, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? And in a country, the predictability of the judiciary is important for the future of our democracy. We have followed religiously the ruling in Hohoi, the ruling in Techima South, and the ruling in Asin North. Ghana will not be a one-man democracy where only the rights of one person and freedoms are respected. I rest my case.
Chairman, we have made an application to you for determination. Mr. Chairman, is it not paradoxical that my colleague, the Honorable Haruna Iglesias, is saying that the determination of the outcome of the election is not by the courts, and yet ends up by saying that that is why they are in court looking for redress? That certainly can be warped. It can be warped and contorted, reasoning, but we will forgive him for that. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, Article 116, Clause 1, which he quoted, says, no civil or criminal proceeding shall be instituted against a member of parliament in any court. The member against whom this process has been instituted is not yet a member of parliament. Yes, that is the distinction. Mr. Chairman, you see, Mr. Chairman, people are not even applying themselves to the basic tenets of the Constitution. Mr. Chairman, so an application has been made to you. It is not about getting up to make wild gesticulations. It's about getting up to apply yourself to the Constitution and coming up with superior arguments, not wild gesticulations. That's not the business of this House. The business of this House is about reasoning and rationalization, not getting up to make wild gesticulations. If you have any superior arguments, come out with it. Not rise up to your place and be making wild allegations. This is not the marketplace. Mr. Chairman, so you have a determination to make. Can you make that determination for us in order to move forward? As simple as that. I thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman. The honorable member for Swami made the point that this House Mr. Chairman, the honorable member for Swami made the point that this House is governed by rules. And the fundamental rule governing this House is the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And it was cited partially by the former minority leader. Mr. Speaker, the inquiry that was raised in the preliminary objection relates to service of process on the Clerk of Parliament. That is the substance of the inquiry. Mr. Chairman, the Constitution is very clear that you cannot be served with a process whilst you are attending at Parliament. Yeah. That is a constitutional problem.
No, performing is functions. Performing is functions.
Yeah.
Performing is functions. Performing is functions.
Yes.
Mr. Clerk, take your time.
Mr. Chairman.
Take your time.
For the doubting Thomases, Mr. Chairman, for the doubting Thomases amongst us, let me. Mr. Chairman, Article 117 of the Constitution reads as follows: civil or criminal process coming from any court or any place out of Parliament shall not be served on or executed in relation to 1. The Speaker, 2. The Member of Parliament, 3. Listen, 3. The Clerk of Parliament. The Clerk of Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Chairman. So it says that whilst he's on his way to, attending at, or returning from any proceedings of Parliament. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, you fall within the ambit of Article
117.
You fall within the ambit of Article 117 of the Constitution and Order 22 of our standing orders, which is taken verbatim from the constitutional provision. Now, the inquiry should be, were you attending at Parliament when you were served? And, no, it's important. Were you attending at Parliament? Were you performing your duties as a clerk
of Parliament?
And if there was service on you, where is the proof of service? Detailing the official bailiff sent by the High Court that allegedly served you the process. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, honorable members, I am speaking in conditional terms in response to the preliminary objection raised by the honorable member for Efutu. Because that was a preliminary inquiry, which was reiterated by the honorable member for Swami. And therefore, I am raising an issue of procedural legality. If that is not properly answered, I think the preliminary objection should be dismissed in limine. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let me respond.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, with the greatest respect to my respected colleague and senior at the bar, the submission is made. It's very misleading. The provision is in respect of a matter of which a member of parliament, a clerk, or a speaker or an officer of parliament is a party to. This is not it. Read it well. Learned former Deputy Attorney General. It is when you are affected by the order that the court, that you are as a person that you have that temporary relief. And you know that. Leonard, you know that. As a former deputy attorney general, with the greatest respect, I expect not to construe this provision in a manner convenient to you. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, the government of my preliminary inquiry was very simple. Can you, Mr. Chair, inform this House for our records as to whether or not you are in receipt of a court process? Simplicity. And I am happy that the Honorable Harry Nedrisi, in his submission, re-echoed the fact that we need our institutions to work for the sake of our democracy. You made that point. If we want our institutions to work, then it is important that we as parliamentarians must submit ourselves to due process, must give confidence to the citizenry that no matter how it is, we will respect court orders. Mr. Chair, an inquiry has been made. No amount of any noise will stop due process from taking effect. We would not allow unnecessary noise. Mr. Chair, if when the learned Attorney General was on his feet, former Deputy Attorney General was on his feet, the backbenchers on this side respected him, and I respect him. I respect him. You better listen to me in silence. If you have a superior argument, get up, seek the attention of chair, and address this House. Stop this noise. Stop this noise. Mr. Chair, we are raising matters of law and follow due process. You better sit down.
Let him raise it because ultimately, I know this, because ultimately the Constitution recognizes that a person who sees you.
Mr. Chair, if all of us go on the path that will help the cause of this matter, perhaps I would crave the indulgence of my colleagues to give due regard to Article 105 of the Constitution. Mr. Chair, with your leave, let me perhaps read that aloud and in extenso. A person who sits or votes in Parliament knowing or having reasonable grounds for knowing that he is not entitled so to do commit an offense and shall be liable on conviction to such a penalty as shall be prescribed by or under an act of Parliament. So, Mr. Chair, even if this determination, Mr. Chair, must come from you, and that is all. Let us know for the record. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair Clerk, we have heard arguments on due process, and to assure you that we are law-abiding citizens. What we do know is that service on a member, and once you are elected, my colleague knows law, is an irrebuttable presumption that he's an elected member of Parliament. Until the merits of his case are so determined, he remains the elected representative of the people of Asin North. But for us to appreciate your due process, we should know when service was done, the bailiff who came to undertake the service. All that has to be tabled But for our purposes, the Honorable Jache has not been served any process. He has gone through lawful process, haven't been elected, and Parliament hasn't been notified. What I stated is that the courts are only called upon to resolve disputes and conflict relating to the election of Member of Parliament. He is duly elected and has not been served any purpose. He went through his registration. His name is listed here. It's listed in the official gazette.
You should give us the proof of service.
So we need the proof of service to begin with, whilst we would also raise preliminary constitutional issues, because even to serve, there must be a speaker. As we speak now, there is no speaker in the Republic of Ghana. I thank you.
I need to. Honorable members, my view is that the preliminary objection relates to whether or not this House is properly constituted for the purpose of electing Speaker or Deputy Speakers. Now, today, this afternoon, late afternoon, I received an order of interlocutory injunction from the Cape Coast High Court, which was served on me, Clerk to Parliament, on Wednesday, 6th January 2021 at 4:55 p.m. And the order was issued by His Lordship Justice Kwesi Boakye, Justice of the High Court sitting in Cape Coast. The registrar Chief Registrar. Ustaz Hamza. And
Chairman, no. He said Hamza. Hamza is not a full name. We want proof of service and the full details of
This is an order in the matter of Article 99 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and in the matter of Section 16 of the Representation of People Law 1992, PNDC Law 284 as amended, and in the matter of parliamentary elections for the Asin North constituency held on 7 December 2020, and the matter of a petition by Michael Ankuma Nimfa challenging the declaration of Electoral Commission of James Kwesi, aka James Jechi Kwesi, as Member of Parliament elect for the Asin North constituency pursuant to the parliamentary elections held on 7 December. This application, having come on Monday, 4th day of January 2020, on 4th day of January 2021, before His Lordship Justice Kwesi Boakye, Justice of the High Court, sitting in Cape Coast, and upon reading the affidavit deposed by Michael Ankuma Nimfa, applicant hearing in support thereof, and upon hearing Frank Davis, Esquire, and with him, Gary Nimaku and Frank Kusi, counsels for and on behalf of the applicant, hearing together with Abraham Amaliba Esquire, and with him Edu Yabwa of counsel and on behalf of James Kwesin, aka James Gechi Kwesin, first respondent. It is hereby ordered that James Kwesin, aka James Gechi Kwesin, first respondent hearing, is hereby restrained from holding himself out as a member of Parliament elect a member of Parliament elect for the Asi North constituency within the central region of the Republic of Ghana, and further presenting himself to be sworn in as a member of Parliament elect as such until the final determination of the petition filed against him by the applicant hearing, given under my hand and seal of the High Court at Cape Coast, 6th day of January 2021.
The day you go to Nsawa and follow him.
I was duly served, and I am therefore unable to recognize James Kwesin for the purposes of election of Speaker. I will therefore accordingly proceed. Proceed with the conduct of these elections. Honorable members elect, any further nominations? Mr. Chairman, we have a question. Mr. Chairman. There's a question. Mr. Chairman. You are not helping me with this.
Chairman, I rise. Chairman, I rise to move that Professor Aaron
Mr. Chairman Clerk, the Honorable Dr. Yeni was on his feet. And he was on his feet, elucidating information. Just tolerate him for 1 minute. Let's hear what information he requires from you in respect of the matter, because this record will be important in court. So allow us to hear Dr. Ayeni. You said due process. Hear Dr. Ayeni. He's been on his feet before leader will move his motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Hamza is a registrar.
Mr. Chairman, when I was on my feet the first time, I raised a fundamental issue of legal procedure, due process of law. And, Mr. Chairman, I am aware that Parliament is a master of its own procedure. However, Parliament is subject to the law. And the law of this land is that a procedurally defective service is legally ineffectual, is null and void and of no effect. And therefore, Mr. Chairman, I ask a factual question in relation to proof of service. Can you show the proof of service to my leader? And then also, Mr. Clark, I am aware that the registrar of the Cape Coast High Court is one Mr. Hamza. He's not a bailiff. I have dealt with him in my court practice. The registrar is Mr. Hamza. He's not a bailiff. And therefore, if you are not properly served, that service is no, it's out of order and of no effect.
That is unfair.
Honorable Osachi Samuels, please, any more nominations?
What is it? Stop what? No, he has spoken. Let the clerk speak. Let the clerk speak.
Let him speak first. What are you talking about?
My own.
Unruly gang. Hey.
The chairman, as far as this house is concerned, you as the chairman has made a determination on this. I will proceed from there. The chairman, I rise to propose that Professor Aaron Mike Okwei do take the chair of this House as the Speaker. Chair, the Right Honorable Professor Aaron Mike Okwei the Speaker of the 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic was born to Mr. E.G.N. Okwei of Osu, Accra, and he was a cocoa merchant. And also to Mrs. Felicia Awusiki Okwei, Nee Azu of Odumase Krobo, and the third of the 7 children on 4th April 1944. Professor Aaron Mike Okwei was brought up at Samakese in the eastern region of Ghana, where he attended the Catholic and Presbyterian basic schools before proceeding to Presbyterian Secondary School, Udumase Krobo, for his O-level, and Apam Secondary School for his A-level. He studied further at the University of Ghana, University of London, and Lincoln in London. He holds a BA Honors, Political Science, LLB Honors, BL, and PhD degrees, respectively. Chairman, Professor Aaron Michael Okwei's working life has been a combination of private legal practice, lecturing, active politics, on the marginalized in society, and pastoral care. Speaker Okwei is a barrister of the Supreme Court of England and Wales and a senior member of the Ghana Bar. As an academic, he achieved the singular distinction of winning within 4 years the coveted international award is considered the highest award in academia. He was a visiting scholar in connection with these awards in London and Virginia, George Mason, United States of America. He was the head of Department of Political Science at the University of Ghana, Legon, from October 1999 to January 2002, and also the Vice President of the Africa Association of Political Science from 1997 to 1999. He has researched and written extensively on good governance, conflicts, political education, decentralization, human rights, military intervention in politics, non-governmental organizations, rural development, parliamentary democracy, and gender. He is a keen advocate of the rights of women, including affirmative action. He's one man who has regularly featured in conferences on gender in this country and abroad. His books and articles have been published in England, Canada, United States of America, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Ghana. His rich experience in African politics has been tapped by many institutions in Ghana and abroad. Professor Mike Okwei is an accomplished diplomat, legislator, politician, among others. Chairman, on the diplomatic landscape, he served as Ghana's High Commissioner to India between 2002 and 2004. As a politician and legislator, he served as the Member of Parliament for Dominic Kwabenya constituency from 2005 to 2008. 2013 January. He was the Minister of Energy 2005-2006, Minister of Communications 2006-2007, and the second Deputy Speaker of the 5th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana between 2009 and 2013. His tenure as Ghana's High Commissioner to India recorded unrivaled achievements, which include the Ghana Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in Information Technology, a showpiece in Africa. The Ghana Presidential Palace and Office Complex, tractors and concession returns to revamp agriculture, and $102 million facility to Ghana, which had 48% grant element, 25 years of repayment period, 5 years moratorium, and 0.5% interest rate per annum. He served as Minister of Energy, as I said, and presided over the deregulation exercise, expansion and maximum application of the Tema oil refinery, unprecedented petroleum exploration, and actually negotiated and signed an agreement between Tullow Oil, which led to the first discovery of oil in Ghana, a recapitalization of the Water River Authority and the Electricity Company of Ghana. Identified steps intensified to resolve same. Chairman, he also presided over the amendment of the VRA Act, the commissioning of the West African gas pipeline by President Kufuor, the signing of the Bui Dam Memorandum of Understanding with Sino-Hydro Corporation of China in September 2005. As Minister of Communication, Ghana and China signed a $30 million agreement for the National Backbone Project. The World Bank gave Ghana a $40 million concession facility. After all, the relevant benchmarks had been satisfied in record time. The Ghana Society for the Blind was provided with Braille computer system with the help of the government of India. He was in charge of the initial steps for the divestiture of Westel and Ghana Telecom. Ghana attained record tele-density and rural telephony targets with Chinese assistance. As a parliamentarian, he took keen interest in legislation and made meticulous endeavor in detecting minute slips. He made brilliant statements and various comments and contributions, which were rich in depth. He served on the Committee on Members Holding Office of Profit, Standing Orders Committee, the Committee on Defense and Interior, Committee on Local Government, and the Committee on Communication. The second Deputy Speaker, his evenness and equanimity pleased both sides of the House whenever he presided. Having risen through the ranks to become the Speaker of Parliament for the 7th Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael-Okwe's aura attracted many distinguished personalities to Ghana and to Parliament House, including the august visit of the first ever sitting Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, Speaker Nancy Patricia Pelosi, who was also granted audience to address the House, the Prime Minister of Barbados, Excellency Mia Motley, who also addressed the House, the Speaker of the House of Representatives Nigeria, Right Honorable Femi Baja Bia Mila, and the Speaker of Uganda, Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, who also visited on the Speaker's invitation and gave a very brilliant lecture on affirmative action and women's participation in politics. As a legislator himself, Right Honorable Professor Okwe's passion for affirmative action led him to initiate measures to advocate for women and children, inclusion, people with special needs, and gender equality. He has also shown interest in the welfare of the marginalized in society, including various donations to persons with disabilities, and sought release of a pregnant woman from the Islam female prisons. Mr. Chairman, the Speaker's passion, together with the assistance of leadership of the House, have led to the rapid passing of bills, albeit in a very meticulous fashion. A number of these attracted considerable public interest. The swift pace at which the number of sittings, question time, statements on the floor, and legislations have been heightened under the 7th Parliament led by Professor Okwei is progressively unparalleled. During his tenure, Speaker Okwei presided over 600 plenary sittings and accepted over 3,214 papers, including bills, reports from committees of the House and ministries, departments, and other agencies, waivers, resolutions, conventions, and loan agreements, among others. Speaker Okwei presided over the review of the standing orders to reflect the needs of the House, and it's unfortunate that the House could not adopt the review standing orders before the House came to be prorogued midnight of the 6th of January. Professor Michael Okwei was also the first to have introduced sign language interpretation in Parliament for very obvious benefits of our disabled brothers and sisters. On the 18th of December 2020, the House passed the first ever private members' bill. And these two bills were under the supervision of Professor Michael Aaron Okwei. Mr. Chairman, Parliament has steadily seen various extension works championed by Professor Okwei under the Physical Infrastructure Enhancement Project, which include the Job 600 annex to accommodate offices for all other members of Parliament who hitherto had no offices, visitors waiting center, drivers waiting center, and the Chamber Support Services block. He also spearheaded the facelift of the existing parliamentary chamber. As an academic, Professor Michael Okwei took keen interest in revamping the Parliamentary Training Institute. There are many things that he has done to improve institutional structures in the system and human capital and talent development as well. He's also done a lot to promote staff welfare, and the measures that he has superintended over, the Chairman, are unprecedented in the annals of Ghana's parliament, notably the 7th Parliament. He has also shown keen interest in building a knowledge hub for Parliament as an institution. The ingenuity of Right Honourable Speaker Okwei has provided members of Parliament and staff opportunities to participate in several sub-regional and international learning experiences. He ensured that the rich experiences and learning outcomes are documented and bound for historical references. It is noteworthy that under the leadership of Professor Aaron Michael Okwei, the following books have been published for the first time: The Rulings of the Speaker, Statements on the Floor, Private Members' Bills in Ghana, a guide, Addresses by the Speaker and leaders of this House. Mr. Chairman, Professor Michael Okwei employed his diplomatic skills to resolve many conflicts, petitions, and issues brought before him. He would be remembered for resolving international trade issues between Ghana and Nigeria in September 2020, and several ambassadors and international partners have called on Speaker Okwei with regards to pertinent global issues. He is a founding member and a key spokesperson in advocating for Africa's debt cancellation to alleviate the unprecedented socio-economic pressures caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Chairman, the Speaker Okwei, through his personal relationship with the Serbian government, acquired scholarships for 10 Ghanaian students. Through him, many students in Ghana have successfully completed their educational pursuit as he paid for their tuition fees. Mr. Chairman, Speaker Okwei also took upon himself to acquire invaluable assets for Parliament, including the Marine Drive Tourism Enclave and the Aviation Hub at Denton, which spans 20 acres. Finally, Professor Okwei was elected the head boy of PUSEC during the 80th anniversary of the school. An accompanying citation recognizes various contributions to the school and his pedigree attained nationally and internationally in politics, laws, and development. Professor Aaron Michael Quay is married to Major retired Mrs. Alberta Boatima Okwei, and they are blessed with children. His hobbies include playing soccer, table tennis, reading, writing, and music. Mr. Chairman, it is this person that I commend to all of us, Chairman, that this House, that he takes the chair of this House as Speaker. The Chairman, appropriately, I do so move. Thank you very much.
Clerk. Any point of order? Point of order. Sit down. You did the same thing. Sit down. Clerk, my microphone is live. He did the same thing. We are second.
I second.
Mr. Chair. No, you cannot speak. You cannot speak. I am up on a point of order also.
Mr. Chair.
You will not be able to speak here because I'm also up on a point of order. The way you rose to arrest my speaker is the same way I am rising to arrest him. I am rising on a point of order. Mr. Clerk, I am rising on a point of order. I am challenging you that the person who gave you the rate, that you are the order, is the deputy registrar who stands. He is not a bailiff. And we are rising on a point of order. You must respect my leader.
Mr. Chair.
No, leader, you cannot proceed. You must speak.
Are you a leader?
He must speak. Respect our leader. Second the motion.
Mr. Chair.
I want to I said earlier. I second the motion.
I rise second the motion. Ably moved by Honorable Oseche Mensah. I do not
Chairman Clerk, just for the record, I want you to lay transparently the service and processes that were served on you on the table with evidence of the bailiff and hour and time of which he signed to serve you. Lay it for our purposes as is required of law before we proceed further. We want proof of service late, but I'd like to inspect it to satisfy myself and to find out from you, Chairman Clerk, whether when you receive service, you actually communicated same to the MP-elect as is required by law. What time you serve? So lay the proof of service and let us know whether when you receive service, because my colleagues that are senior lawyers in the Jerigoji versus Issa 1989, the clerk is not the attorney or lawyer for the MP-elect, and therefore you must establish further whether you serve the MP-elect those processes. So kindly lay it before the table, the proof of service with evidence of the bailiff who served it. And then whether you have the power you are exercising, the question is whether clerk can make the ruling.
Mr. Chair, respectfully, the invitation by Honorable is well grounded. Suffice to state for the records that the MP-elect, for the records, was in court. At the time the order was read, he was in court with his own lawyers, and the court records would bear. And as a Ghanaian, it is my duty to inform this House on such facts, so that, Mr. Chair, we all be at peace that perhaps the invitation on you
is even superfluous because the MP-elect himself was present in court when his matter was argued. His lawyers were there. When his case, the ruling was made against him, he was in court. At least for the records.
Mr. Chairman.
I will lay the document for the information of the House. The document was served on the clerk to Parliament for my action. So it wasn't served for the purposes of me serving the member.
Personal service. We are talking about personal service. We are talking about injunction. An injunction to the house of chair. An injunction to the house of chair. You are stood to the house of chair. Personally. You are stood to the house of chair. Election today.
You are a disgrace.
Cyril is a tool in the house of chair.
So we are watching this unfold on the floor.
Ray mentime ho ase kakra na asori ewo eye krata e free court to them eba eye clerk of anase clerk to parliament no na so ye a ye rahayi na drusu se opese wo hwe na bra clerk no de krata no ekoye ekoma no na otwe ne phone se otwa na afoforo a wonu free eye NDC amanyekuo no onu makache metre eye members of parliament elect no onu mo so person behwe bie na no na marshals of parliament ne try some prevent omo a edi kikiri kakra aba sese ya wono mo hwese abedwafo no besa atena se na dwumadie no se de ewo se esiko no akọ sabre mashwe ni ba akọ akosum police ni ba akọ amabufuo eye aba mse ewo se abotre eye adwuma ekwan a nipa ni bi efa so a wono ekokutua so no ano ya ye den sese ye ahobambofo no na mashwemfo no ni omo anya a chese kasa eni ntiatiamu eni dede yo kakra asore wo hono mo a se de wohu e wa fidie nso sei ena ekoso wo man emra hye bedwafie areho kakra se oman a yani abre na yesa yamrane wo kemam ka bi ho na eduru mrem bi a na entiase nya adwuma ketekete a afidi aya na ebufuo no adoso saa no ha adwene bebre court asema kaye no ena dwam treni ene wotena dwam atoto nioma se kasamafo memra hye bedwafie de atodwa se osom na nipa yeto obama no asin of abato mpesua so no nyade a owitima wana kwan ama no ato aba omba beto de ayi speaker ni bi sanse court krata ene court asema a woka no kire se oni ho kwan so otubie na emu adansidie a dom kuma kane dom kuma eba no de ne yewura hari na drusu epe na chese kwakofa kikiri di aba pani no kane no okan se krata court de bre ne de bre ono se onye ho adwuma ya fa mre nso omfa nkire na dede kakra ba no se sebe anansi enti ne ekum sonkro so a yehua ne hwenti krata ne nie ena ode ko yewura hari na drusu ho na ono so twe ne phone se ode etwa enti twa na wo twa no ena afi de obi ahunu de ehye wo mo a ewa kire ya bedwafo a yato aba mo NDC afamo ni bi sori ya won mo ebe ni mu se so obeje krata no so obehwe bi se tesen na unimsi a hobanbofo so ewa bedwafie ho ena mo so bo ho moden se obebo wo ho ban eno na akofa kikiri kakra a ede abanti asam no se mpanifo no a ebia wo NDC amanyoko nu no patapata wonum enuanom so omo ntrase ambambofo no so ewo abedwafie ono so abam okọ MPP fo afamu dia omo de omo tete hodin na omo ehwe de ekoso de epene sasomdwe be na dwuma ne ato aba e de yi kasamafo omo embrasbefie na afi mu adwo kai se dwuma dia wo di sesie no o sase dumienu apa ho sima edu pepepe sesie ka sei e be fa ne se don hwere ba ko ne fa ena abanso yentimi kwa abato no so a eno ne ade titiriwa yeye o so oto abai so ewie se me kasei abedwafo no kra be so ya ansa na wonmo ato abai kasamafo na no ama ekwan ada ho se omampani a yato aba ede ama na dan kwakufuado enso atimi esai ede a kire omo na enso beto amframa di kan ho proporo wa kakra yehuni ena enhye da nya nika ene ofa Facebook ne social media your handles how do I streaming Adom 106.3 enem ne ho kekeka ho a no kura ni nyame anim enyasem ketwa kra messages amanfo de ba bi de ya tenie ebinom abam abu say woni a yese wonmo nhye mra mayen emayen ni so ena woda suban ti se yedin ba yen ti asese ebufuo de eka nipa brabo ho ebufuo ne ba den a nipa be ye ne bi nanso ni nyina mu no obete won ho ase na fe de entiase ya adwuma na wode atoa so sabire de ohwese yewura jonjinapo ne buafu a wotrese nsa hwe MPP fo afam minim so bi akanse bi ma atwi na se na bufu a Sam George so de ene ne fiti ahyase ni nyina bufu ni tuamu a se nsempii ha no ena wode ho abufuo kasa trete ne nsa no yegiriye se de be ya mo men ene se bibia ni a ne kwanso sanse mranti na nipa wo sa bedwafie ho nyina omo ho enye mra ena ama ho kwan si timi to aba eyi nipa bi nyema na konya se won ko trafikasie mu a menyi ni se nka nipa wo ho yi ene omo ho to so mu nya abotre pa ena enya ahoden se ya ahodenfo ena yepe ede akwa bedwafie wo so menyi ni se bia omamu ni nyina nipa ha no aduoso num nipa yi ena ka yebe yom